Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hey everyone, welcome to the discussion for Suspects. This is another whodunit murder mystery game by Studio H. This one is another one I came across in Gen Con of 2021 that I knew nothing about. What was actually pretty fantastic is I bought another one of their games, and they threw in a demo to this one. And I was like, oh sure, I'll give it a shot. I love this genre. Like, almost all these types of games are just so much fun. Because I have yet, in all the Sherlock Holmes I've played, and all the Chronicles of Crimes, Detective Modern Crime, Vienna Connection, and this one, I've never ran across the same story. Like, it's like, which makes these very hard, because you see those kinds of movies. I mean, this one even mentions, Agatha Christie novels. Movies like Knives Out and things like that. It's you want to fall into the tropes, which definitely lead you in a direction that is not the case. So this is another one. It utilizes a deck, like an actual, deck of cards, and I feel like, almost like kind of an escape room kind of style, the unlocks, where it's like, oh, we find this card. And it's a very small footprint. There's only 3 mysteries, which I thought was a little less than ideal, but we only did the first one, and it was like, oh, these are long, and this is hard. Mm-hmm. Like, this one was very, very hard. This had that movie Knives Out feel, where it's like every one of you is suspicious in some way, and which one?
None of you are good people.
To the point where the one person that is absolutely innocent and could never possibly do it was like, but maybe.
I think the only person that we were like, she didn't do it, was the kid.
Yeah, we never talked to. There were a few people we didn't talk to.
No, actually, we did make fun of her for being the murderer.
Sure. Yeah. But in this case, and at this point, you haven't played Detective of Modern Crime Board, but you've played Vienna Connection, which is the same system. Kat and I have played all of them. What do you guys think of Suspects?
I like it.
You like it?
A lot. Yeah, absolutely. It falls right into it. I think it's really streamlined. It's incredibly engaging. Like, I at one point I was like, okay, well, I'm ready for it to end because I'm ready to, like, know who did it, but I wasn't just like, can we move on? Like, can we get past this? Like, it's a thrilling game.
There was kind of a tipping point because it was getting late. Like, we started this at like 9:30 and ended at midnight. So they're very long. They are very long cases. At least the first one is. But it wasn't because I was sitting here and I'm just like, I don't know. Like, my brain just
Your glasses
hurts.
quite literally flew off your face.
Twice! Like, and I can't just break them.
It's okay.
Yeah, Brett, what do you think out of all the ones that we have played?
I at this point, I like them all equally.
Yeah.
I enjoy them for different reasons. This one, because the scoring system allows you to, maybe you do really well, and then you find out more information, you go, ew, that either reinforces what I did, or no, we should change, and get a lower score, but at least we get some of it right.
Yeah, you know what this one does that different from all of them?
What?
You know the questions before you start.
Yeah.
Right.
Every single one of them, you're like, I don't know what we have to answer, so you don't know what is important or not.
It's true.
Like, imagine not finding out that Mary was pregnant or something, and, like, one of the questions is, like, what's the name of Mary's baby? Like,
yeah,
like,
exactly.
I don't know what?
Yeah. Oh, I guess small spoilers for the first one. That should have been said earlier, but
bleep it all out.
Just inherently, we're probably going to end up saying something. But if you watch the run-through, then...
Need spoilers.
Yeah. But that is super fascinating. That was always a problem I had with Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah.
Is you're like...
What are we looking for?
Yeah, because you're like, well, it mentioned, wagon, rudder marks in the mud, but who knows if that's relevant? And then you get
It's
to
a street.
Yeah, then you get to the end, and because it has... Most of the time, especially if you play a lot of Sherlock Holmes, you do kind of realize, oh, this is probably a secondary bonus question. Mm-hmm. But then there's times, oh, who was the leader of the Higgins gang? And you're just like... Who?
Yep.
Like, what the fuck? We didn't get anywhere close to that. But this one, it lets you stay, like Kat said, streamlined. Lets you stay focused. Like, there were a lot of ones in here about, the head of the manor. And it's like, oh, well, okay, maybe they did do this. Maybe they did this. And it's like, that stuff doesn't matter because we know we're trying to figure out who the killer is.
Yeah.
not of Edward,
Yeah.
but of Mary.
We
and,
want to know, as
Yeah.
people, like, we want to know.
and they cleverly answered it in the thing. It's like, hey, okay, here's the extra, but it's all story stuff.
Yeah.
It's not based off your score. It's not none of that. It's such a breath of fresh air to just know these are the 5 questions. Now, how quickly we answer them
Yeah.
is going to be pertinent to our score, which is also story related. Hey, by the way, you fucking failed, so this person story-wise got off.
You're
Yeah.
fucking failing.
And killed you.
yeah, strangled you. So it's so nice at how much that makes a difference. And other games tweak it, like Detective Modern Crime. It's like you do have a score, but it's not, a fine. It's like you could get like a 15 out of 60, but still get a mission passed because you figured at least out, who the murderer was or the main answer.
Right.
Yeah. So Brett, keep going. What were you saying?
That was what I was saying. I like that. I'm trying to figure out if I like the exclusive card format
Yeah.
versus the book.
Okay.
This is much easier to reference again,
Yeah.
which is critical
Yeah.
in doing all this stuff rather than flipping
Detective
through
Modern Crime does this too.
Okay.
Or Vienna Connection, because we had all those cards that
Right.
come out. Yeah.
Right. So that's not, but versus the Sherlock Holmes ones, where it's all in the book, and
Yeah.
so you kind of have to remember, and it's
Yeah.
hard to go back.
There are different ways to organize. What we've learned over Sherlock Holmes was, okay, the lead was 54W, and so we put that, and then we kind of do a little, like a line, a sentence of what we found there, or whatever was pertinent to that.
Right.
But what's fantastic about these, especially because these are newer, Sherlock Holmes, basically you kind of know when you turn to it, short paragraph, not going to be any information. Long one, great, we're on the right track. Here, everything is fair game. When talking to everyone, it's like, okay, they're going to say something. But what
Yeah.
makes this one so hard, like the other ones, is you don't know. There's nothing in this that ever is definitive.
Right.
Like, at least pertinent to the case. Like, we guessed at the I think the first guess, the first person I was like, it's her, but it's not for the reason that we thought it was.
Yeah. We thought it was because she loved her.
No. We thought it was she loved her brother.
Oh, she loved
That's and so.
Too much.
Little's too much.
And I
That's-
feel like, and I've seen this happen whenever I did the demo the first time, if you get so focused on the score,
Yeah.
I think you will have a bad time. Because for some reason, tying a score and actually being able to visibly track your score and have a timer, like, I only want to do max 30, answer all these questions and see
Yeah.
what the result is. You're most likely going to be wrong.
Yeah. Well, and the point of these games too is it's the journey
Yeah.
as well. Like
Yeah.
like the fun is to be had when you're collecting cards and going around and seeing what you can find and what you can uncover.
Yeah. And for me, it's like these games do both the journey and the destination so well because it's like you get to be involved. You get to at least feel like you were on the right track. And then if you're wrong and you read it, at least you still get the story. What I don't like is bum rushing these games because when you do that, then you didn't get the story.
Right.
You didn't get to play the game, and then you're unsatisfied because you got all the questions wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is kind of a double-edged sword. If you're not necessarily in a time constraint. If you don't give a fuck about the score at all,
Yeah.
then just play the game.
Yeah.
And then
But
answer
it's-
the questions later.
But it's nice to have a stopping point. It says, okay, with what the information we have,
Mm-hmm.
if this were the end of it, what would we think?
Yeah.
And then later on we go, don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. Like, we could have... And there's no reason why you can't. It's not like a one-and-done answer.
Exactly.
You and they even mention it in the rule book. It's kind of like, hey, here's maybe some breakpoints. 1 to 30. Okay, we're at 30 cards. Let's calm down. Let's not talk to anyone. Let's not look at any more locations. Let's try to answer these.
Yeah.
And then we answer them. Oh, I think it's Jimmy Dean because of his bagels, his morning bagels.
Is sausage.
He's the killer. And then you answer those questions, then you keep going. And then you answer more cards, you get to, in this case, 45. And you're like, nope, I still think it's him. And so you don't have to answer it again.
Yep.
But you get more information, you're like, okay, now we think it's this person.
Yeah.
And I like that. I like the fact that you're able to answer them, potentially get max points. And if not, you can just change it.
Yep.
And then if you get more questions, then you can go back.
Yep.
I love this system. The answer, having the questions up front is, I think, superior.
Having a focus for all of your thinking.
Especially because it is a lot of cards. Like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of cards. There's a lot of little things to be like, okay, like, whenever you point out, it's like, well, the fact that that's an option makes me think that it's important. And...
Or it's a red herring.
Or it's a red herring. And that's the thing, is you don't know. Sometimes it's like, okay, well, yeah, they did point that out, but are they smart enough as designers to make me... They know that I know that they,
Yeah.
So you just kind of have to take your guess.
Yeah.
Now, in terms of mechanics, like, it is still your bog standard whodunit. If you have... I mean, I wouldn't say get this one over any of the other ones,
Right.
honestly. I just like owning them all because I love these kinds of genres. They're so much fun for me.
Yeah.
And like you said earlier, like, we haven't run across a similar story.
Yeah.
Like, they're all incredibly unique, which I think is fantastic because it just blows my mind how, like, they don't start repeating the same crimes or, like...
Yeah, because it's like, yeah, you
circumstances.
would think, oh man, that's a lot similar. Well, I will say, in the season 1 of Detective Modern Crime, they do have a Knives Out case. But they even say, because I have a designer's
inspired
journal,
by
they were like,
yeah.
hey, yeah, we were inspired
Yeah.
by Knives Out. But still, the method and everything is still different. Yeah, this is in a manor. There's a manor case in Sherlock Holmes. So the settings are going to be relatively similar.
Yeah.
But how they go about it, it's
Like,
not
yeah,
like...
what's going on and who's doing it and why they're doing it.
And ancillary stuff, like, here's a whole other possible murder that really has nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
But does it
But-
We're actually
really?
not
But is it
gonna ever-
indirectly related? It might be. Yeah, this one, oh my god, they just get... Because you get inside your own head. What I was telling my friend Devin when we did the demo for this, I was like, these games are so hard because you don't know how... what adequate the creators are.
Yeah.
It's like, are they just trying to make a game like this and fail miserably? So it's like, how much credit do you give them for having in-depth writing and you know, misdirection and actual cases and leads and things like that? Or do you just chalk it up as like, well, okay, it seems like it's the boyfriend, so I guess we'll go with him. And they're like, yep, did you get it? You know, no, this one, they put some effort. They went over quality over quantity.
Yeah. And now, in retrospect, I'm noticing things like, one of them says, okay, this is the murder weapon.
Yeah.
Another one says, this matches this person. But is it possible?
Yeah.
So
Like,
the thing about the gloves is it was much less certain,
yeah.
which opened up the possibility for
Yeah, because Cal was like, well, you can wear gloves that are bigger. And that's like... And
Yeah,
that
but-
that's where... Because that came with a... Cat's more of the subjective one about like, well, yeah, you can do that. But I'm more like, no, the game has to have a mechanic that lets us figure out who the fuck did
And
it.
I'm like, the game knows that we're smart!
And it did.
Yeah.
And it absolutely did. And that's brilliant. But it is also, I will say, equally frustrating because you spend a lot of, especially in this first case, flailing.
Yeah.
Talking to everyone. And it's like, I don't want to talk to everyone because that's too much information
Yeah.
for me to try and, oh, he said this, but did he mean... Because
Well-
you never know if they're lying.
Do you remember when I was like, didn't somebody say something about herbs? And I was like, did I hallucinate that? Like,
and it did, and we totally blew it off.
Yeah.
And it was like, because I was sitting here, I'm like, we're gonna talk to a person, we're gonna get a certain card that is gonna be footprint, gloves, boom, got him,
Yep.
answer it.
Yep. And
Nope.
the rope, which was so obvious as the murder weapon. Oh, by the way, not the murder weapon.
Because you walk through it, you walk through the case. The fact that I
Yeah.
love the tangible stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, Sherlock Holmes has it too with the map of London. I love
Yeah.
physically having something. Of course, Detective has the laptop, like, and that one has the more intricate system because in a lot of these you have to take what they say for face value because you can't ever tell if they're lying. In Detective, when you interview them, they have what's a stress level. So if they say something, it'll say high stress level, and it's like, okay, that we can deduce as he's lying about that or something about that. And then Chronicles of Crime, yeah, the characters move around the map, and then you have a QR code. You can ask them. You can ask someone about an item. They might not know. You can find information. You can go back to them. So it actually has an interactive real-world feel. They all
This-
do something different.
this one really heavily relies on, like, your ability to cross-reference as well, which is why note-taking was, because I was writing down like the specifics, like
I also gave you the tiniest book imaginable.
you really truly did.
It was just around.
But boy, I love it.
Yeah, the little detective notebook.
It was, yeah.
And that was my thought when I wanted to collect
Buy
all
scotch,
Yep.
get divorced, lose the dog in the marriage.
6-shooter gun. 3 o'clock every day.
I'll see you tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Click.
All right, see you tomorrow. Oh my!
But it really relies on like your actual deduction skills and like what you can pick up on, which is really nice.
Mm-hmm. I mean, because you look at the item, like the tangible item, like the map. I mean, hell, the family tree was super intricate. We were constantly in that trying to figure out.
That gave me an ulcer. Yeah.
It's like, okay, how old are they? When were they taken? You know, who are they related to? Why would this person have a motive? You know, how are they? I love the fact that this also tells you what people's thoughts are on others, and that allows you to cross-reference. Okay, everyone said this character. Everyone's saying the same thing about this character.
Yeah.
They can't possibly do it. Which, at least we were right about that.
Or everyone's saying this about this character, like, which means that their opinions aren't formed by, like, jealousy or something like that. Like, because someone said something. A good example would be like, oh, well, she was a stupid bitch, but everyone else is like, she was just the greatest gal.
7 out of 8 people are like, I wish she was just so nice. It's like, okay, well, that one person really hates her. But then you find in the story reasons why. Or in the demo, which I guess we can spoil that, there was one person who said, oh, this was written certainly by this guy. And then that guy was like, oh, no, she wrote it. And it's like, okay, well, they both have conflicting information.
Well, you can't both have written it.
Right. It's like, so someone's lying, or it's a third party.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say something.
I was.
Oh, okay, keep going.
No.
Oh,
Do it.
all right.
Say it.
It was weeks ago. Don't worry about it.
Oh, I gotcha. So with the tangible stuff, it's always nice to be like, okay, well, this is right next to this, and then you draw your own conclusions, and it's at least reassuring to know that you are gonna be. We were at least somewhere on the right track. At least at one point. At one point we kind of had it, then we kind of mixed it around. And it's just so this one was so hard.
This one had so many avenues.
Well, because you also do throwaway lines. She's pregnant. Oh, okay, well, we have no definitive thing like that. But then it's like, then you brought it back. It's like, okay, well, that definitely would be a motive. It's like, yeah. It's so... What does this play up to? How many people does this play up to?
26.
3. 6.
1 to 6, yeah.
Yeah.
I never like these at large people because of that very reason.
Too many
hands in the cookie jar where it's like...
Too many cooks.
Yeah, too many cooks.
Yeah, there's no reason like 20 couldn't, except
Sure.
just the logistics of everyone.
Everyone
Gets a card.
Yeah, everyone wants to see something. Someone's always getting like overshadowed by someone else who wants to, talk and have their theories heard.
I did feel bad during the game because I was like, stop! Like, cause it's like you need to be heard. So yeah, I couldn't imagine it with honestly more than like 3-4 people.
Yeah.
It would slow down even more.
Yeah.
Well, it's also really cool that they do in this, and I've seen it in this, and then the demo is they have like a symbol thing where it's like, okay, if you find these key pieces, because it's all, I mean, they're so hard to narrow down and figure out. It's like, oh, if you find these key cards, you get to now look at this special card that's most likely going to help you a lot at this point to help define your, your theory or retract. We had it narrowed down to one of 2 people, but we backtracked because we thought that...
It's her fault. They made her look like a vampire.
We had the wrong person for the right reasons.
Yeah, pretty much. But the way that these were answered, all these questions were essentially subjective or, sub-questions to the main one. Who's the killer? Okay, why'd they do it? Boom. And depending on who we answered as the killer, it gave us different reasons.
Yeah.
But yeah, it feels so close to detective work, as close as you can, because one key piece of evidence we did not look at.
Yep.
It was, and in this case, we had it available to look at, but I was like, that's not relevant.
Yeah, why?
So, yeah, okay.
Why would we? Well, because they say, yeah, you can look at this if you want to.
Yeah. But that's where you kind of want to still kind of keep it within the cards.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well, we'd much rather we have like 2 cards left we can look at. We think these 2 are more important than this one. And God, it's so rough. This one was very difficult. One of the hardest ones I've done in a long time.
This was tough.
Like, this was a brain burner. So
Good story though.
yeah, it was still incredibly fascinating. And
Yeah.
so the other two, the final act and the Wings of Vengeance, they say they're in chronological order. So I don't know if they're going to be one of those things where it's kind of like,
The final act is not the last
I
thing.
guess not.
Interesting.
It was someone's final
They
act.
are all written by different people though.
Oh,
This
really?
one is by Guillaume. I guess the game, the designer wrote the first one.
Okay.
And then we have Sebastian Duverger Nedelec, sorry, did chapter 2, and then Paul Halter. I was going to say Halter, and I'm like, ew, that's a little close to Hitler. I'm like, oh man, it's Paul.
He's like, thanks.
yeah, no,
thanks
Paul
for that.
Halter. So, yeah, this one is fantastic. I'm definitely going to be keeping an eye out for, for this, because what they can also do, yeah, they have Claire Harper, so she's like in the 1930s, so they kind of, if they're going with this as an actual character, that's who we play as, they've kind of limited themselves to a time period,
Yeah.
so you can't be as free as like Chronicles of Crime, who they have, you know, the 1400s, and then they have the 2100s.
Yeah.
Yeah, she can just be the daughter.
But I'll bet
I guess, yeah.
I'll bet there'll be more boxes featuring other investigators in different time frames.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's true. And I hope they do. This is these are awesome. I am not displeased at all, and now I know what to expect. I knew what to expect after playing the first demo, and that was about
Just more.
Yeah, that was about an hour and a half of
Yeah.
that one, and it's like, oh my god, yep, that all makes sense reading that solution, and then here it's like, oh no, that's a lot of people to talk to. That's a lot of stuff they can give us.
So I was like, thank God, like 7 of them are dead.
Oh, I know. And, I mean, at least there were a couple that we could have just wrote off. It's like, there's no way a 10-year-old is doing this.
Well, yeah, but
But, you know...
But what if she was being silly goofy?
What if she was... Yeah, what if she was being and stabbed her in the face?
I found this piano wire.
Just, like, crying.
I want to see.
Sawing her
And
head
I'm
off.
wearing these cool gloves.
There is actually one complaint that I have. You in this one and in the demo, we never get to actually inspect the body. It just kind of loosely tells us. In both of them, we never... It was just like, this is what's around them. And it's like, no, I want to look at the body.
And the coroner's like, fuck you.
yeah, it took place in several different places.
Yeah.
We did, but not just.
Not by going there and examining the body.
We want to
But,
poke the actual thing.
and it makes sense. We're not
We're
coroners.
trusting the expert.
Yeah, I mean, we're not coroners. We're not anything like that. We're detectives. So it makes sense that we would look around them and trust, the experts. Sherlock Holmes does have that. You can go to the coroner and they tell you exactly, and here's what was on them.
And all that is just a face-to-face meeting, really.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
Not
But you get a lot of detail.
You do get a lot of detail that helps. I mean, hell, even in this one, there were like 4 different red herrings on the murder weapon. It was like, she was wearing a scarf. Oh, strangled. Okay, so that's what was used. And then, oh my god, yeah. But
And
luckily,
then we happened to stumble across.
that's true, because I was like,
Actually, we probably. I don't know how seriously we would have taken it if they hadn't had the card matching.
well, that's what I was about to say, yeah. The card matching is so neat, and it's such a simple mechanism to have in this game.
Yeah.
So the fact that, yes, there is a way for you to be like, to figure out for sure something. Because otherwise, if it was just all based off speculation, you would never get an answer correct.
But to be honest, I would not expect to get that piece of information from going to the Great Hall.
True. Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, I don't know if you're allowed to look through these. I don't know if you're allowed to be like, what does the Great Hall look like? You know, I don't know if you have to keep it all secret and then say you're going to go there. Because, like, I mean, this is all
You can play it
hindsight.
either way because one side of the card doesn't give away anything
Yeah,
Except-
it shows a picture. And
except
it's like,
some clues.
Yeah, like this one would be like, there's a telephone. Maybe we can call someone.
Okay.
This is, once again, in hindsight, I would not have thought of that.
Yeah. No, but there's no more. Actually, if I'd seen that, I probably would have skipped it because there's no sub-specific places within there.
Yeah.
So I probably wouldn't have bothered going.
Yeah. I guess it doesn't hurt you, like, because if you can look at the library, like, they're all pretty vague. like you don't know what to look at in here. You just be like, okay, there's a lot
true.
of books. It's a library.
That's true. You do have to actually commit, and then you find out. Well, there's 3 other options.
Yeah, I can definitively say though, and I love all of these for it. This one, Sherlock Holmes, Detective, Chronicles of Crime. None of these hold your hand.
No.
Like this one in particular, it's almost you don't need a little detective piss book. It's like you're gonna need like sheets, and you're gonna have to be like chronologically. Okay, who could have done it, and actually like work it all out. So it takes time,
Like a real detective.
like a real detective. Yeah, this one's fantastic. I can't think of anything else to bring up. I definitely wanted to harken on the major differences. I guess the big question is, should you own this if you own any of the other ones? Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think so.
If you enjoy them.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
because these are one of those things
Growing
that
collection.
they're going to keep. I mean, hopefully they keep supporting this. There's 3 big Sherlock Holmes things. Detective keep getting supported. So and over time,
So here's a key question then. Among the ones that you mentioned,
yeah.
if someone didn't own any of them and wanted to start out, would you have a particular recommendation?
Chronicles of Crime,
Okay.
probably because there's difficulty levels based off your cases, and there's a lot of them out now. And it's, I mean, that's assuming people love apps. And I'm not one of those people that throws a fit if apps are in my board games, like,
Right.
you know. But that would be the first one I would go to.
Okay.
Because there's difficulty levels. And you just need your phone. Sherlock Holmes is continuously going down compared to all of those just because all of them are so innovative and they do what it did better. It's the predecessor, set the bar relatively high for this genre, but
It's
in all the newest
stagnating.
expansions, and all the newest expansions, especially the one came out a couple years ago, it's 10 new cases, and I love the Sherlock Holmes genre, but it is still a book.
Yeah.
They have a map, and then there's one where there's a manor, and so they are bringing in extra elements, but it is still the book.
Yeah.
But out of all of them, I would say get Chronicles of Crime first, just for variety. Now, which one's my favorite? It's still Detective Modern Crime board game, just because I love the laptop, like that aspect. That one, the way it's written, the settings that they've included, and the laptop all make me feel like I'm actually in an office typing and stuff, gathering evidence.
Yes.
But this one is really up there.
Oh, yeah.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, Brett,
9.
9.
9.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 9 as well. It's so good. So here's to hopefully, like you said, more 3 boxes. I mean, because this probably isn't super expensive, time consuming to write the stories.
Yeah.
But you can just be like, oh, here's a new box set in 1980. It's in the 80s, Here's one. All 3 cases are about the Satanic Panic. It was the Goth. Every single time, Goth kids. It was what's his face?
Ozzy Osbourne.
It was Ozzy Osbourne. No, what was his name?
Can't remember.
From the West Memphis 3. It was all them. But so I guess we'll just see. But that's our thoughts on Suspects. Let us know what you think of the game in the comments below. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you. Hey everyone, thank you for watching, and I really hope that you enjoyed the video. If you would like to see more of my content, go ahead and click that subscribe button and the bell to be notified whenever I upload any new content. If you feel like supporting the channel, you can go ahead and click that Patreon link to be taken to my Patreon, and any help is truly appreciated. Other than that, stick around for any other run-throughs or reviews or cool top 10s or whatever I feel like putting on. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you.